It's the hardest thing that I think I've ever gone through in my life.
Fear along the fire lines.
A lot of folks had 5-10 minutes to get out with everything they had.
Families wonder if their homes have burned.
We don't know what we're going to go into. We don't know if it's going to be a black, just charred land.
An elderly couple is missing.
They were the nicest people you could have ever hoped to have met.
Our coverage of the East Troublesome fire begins right now.
The sheer panic that comes with evacuating at a moment's notice has ceased, and now families have little to do but wait and dread the real possibility their homes and maybe even their loved ones are gone. Good evening, and thanks for watching Denver 7. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. The East Troublesome fire has burned more than all of Colorado than one fire before it. There's only one bigger in the whole history of this state. 2 people tonight are feared dead. Hundreds of people living out of hotel rooms. Jason Gruenauer and Lance Hernandez hearing very emotional stories from the front lines tonight. STACEY Donaldson tracking the changing weather conditions. Let's start with Liz Gilardi with where the fire stands right now. Liz?
Well, we just heard an update from Incident Command, and the East Troublesome fire is only 5% contained. It's grown to more than 188,000 acres, and fire officials described the growth yesterday as substantial after 2 heavy fire days. And they also talked about the effort to fight this fire from the air, something that's been a problem over the past couple of days, but the smoke has cleared out, the wind has died down, so they are beginning to use planes and helicopters once again, and they're picking up water from nearby lakes instead of using fire retardant at this point. The fire has also been split into 2 areas, 2 zones that officials were talking about, the Grand Zone and the Thompson Zone, which is east of the Continental Divide. The sheriff says there is a misconception that the fire came ripping through and it's all done, but he says there is still a risk. He would not say whether or not people have died. He says that's still under investigation. He also said they're seeing a number of spot fires, and a house yesterday that might have been good might not be good today.
The top priority is saving lives. That's where all the resources go first, ahead of homes, ahead of property, getting people out safely. But the East Troublesome fire moved quickly. We stand by our fellow Coloradans, right? We stand by our firefighters. We stand by those affected.
And Governor Jared Polis, he met with fire officials today and toured several areas in the state. The fire is moving at a slower pace, and as weather moves in this weekend, fire officials say they are not banking on the snow, but they hope it's helping. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.
I'm sure that will help. Thank you, Liz. And Lyle and Marilyn Heileman have not been seen since the fire, and their son fears they did not survive. Denver 7's Jason Gruenauer with that story tonight.
And this is coming directly from information from family members tonight. That couple's son tells us that he believes both of his parents died in their Grand Lake home when their neighborhood went up in flames. Lyle and Marilyn Heileman, longtime Grand Lake residents, are missing and feared dead tonight. Their son telling ABC News he believes his parents died in the East Troublesome fire, saying there is no other way they would have preferred to leave this life than together.
The report from the fire chief was that he looked in the basement and it was all gone.
Neighbor Matthew Reed narrowly escaped the flames himself, now knowing his home was destroyed.
We know 100% for sure our house is ashes.
He lived near the Heilemans' longtime home and used to go to the same church.
They were the nicest people you could have ever hoped to have met. You know, they lived a phenomenal life. Lyle was a Denver fireman for his career before he became a home builder up here. They were really lucky people and had an awesome family and awesome community around them.
At a news conference earlier today, the Grand County Sheriff would not confirm any fatalities from the fire.
No, I cannot. We're working with some family members on some missing subjects, but we're not able to confirm any information at this time.
The sheriff acknowledged a small list of missing persons, adding that many roads into neighborhoods are still inaccessible because of the fire. The Heileman family adding tonight that they already have plans to rebuild that home that was lost, that big yellow home right there on the water here in Grand County, as a tribute to both Lyle and Marilyn. So many people here in Grand County dealing with their own versions of tragedy tonight. Denver 7's Lance Hernandez picks up the story from there about people who may have lost their homes and in other cases may have lost all of their possessions. Lance?
Well, the assistant fire chief in the Grand Fire Protection District lost her home. She posted before and after pictures on Facebook, and the owners of the Twin Pines Lodge learning late this afternoon that their beautiful cabin on the lake, a total loss.
One of the things that you know when you own a house in the mountains is that it's not if, it's when. And you think about, what is it going to be like to lose my home?
Cammie Gilmour and her husband purchased this cabin on Sun Valley Lake so they'd have a place to spend time with their children and grandchildren. They turned it into a business, named it Twin Pines Lodge, and began renting it out to others. They came down earlier this week to bake some pumpkin bread for guests. That's when the pre-evac orders were issued. Cammie shot this video.
The smoke was thick, the thickness if you were sitting on the other side of a campfire, and swirling and embers.
She says there was a roar.
It was as if a fire was in a fireplace when you get the good draft and it starts to roar. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to listen to a fire again, because that sound, when it comes through a valley and you hear it coming.
It was loud. Late this afternoon, a firefighter friend sent her this photo of all that remains of Twin Pines Lodge,
Which was probably once the most beautiful place on earth. It was just a slice of heaven.
She says they're grieving a bigger loss than their house, a bigger loss than their business.
We're grieving more of the people connection and what the magic was of Sun Valley Lake and that community.
Cammie says the worst part of the inferno was the loss of life. She says Lyle and Marilyn Heilman were fixtures in the community.
Neighbors that have been there for 50 years and are central to the community. Your house is just a house. And it really becomes about the value of making memories, of being good neighbors.
Now, Cammie knows what happened to her property. There are many other property owners in this county who still have no idea whether the walls of their house are still standing. So there are going to be some anxious moments tonight, tomorrow, through the weekend, before they find out with certainty. In Grand County, Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
All right. Lance, thank you very much. And slowly but surely, Mother Nature is starting to cooperate with the fire crews. Meteorologist STACEY Donaldson has details with that tonight. Stace?
Yes, and we'll take it step by step until this storm shows up this weekend to really help out the firefighters up in the mountains. Now, we still have hazy, kind of smoky, cloudy conditions here across the Front Range. It's been very cold throughout today. Temperatures right now still in the 30s here for the Denver area, and we only made it into the 30s for afternoon highs today. So kind of cloudy, cool conditions here for the area, but the winds still very gusty off to our west up in the higher elevations. Not quite as bad as it was yesterday, but we're expecting them to pick up again tomorrow. So high fire danger off to our west for most of western Colorado till tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And then the National Weather Service issued this afternoon a winter storm watch for Sunday here for the entire Front Range, up in the high country and the eastern plains for snowfall that'll be coming through over the weekend. We're going to be talking about how much we expect snowfall wise and when it will be showing up and getting out of here coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, this crazy Colorado weather. All right, Stacy, thank you. And you know the last thing evacuees need to be worrying about right now is taking care of their livestock.
And thanks to the good people of Gilpin County, they don't have to. Here's Megan Lopez.
Up here in Gilpin County, the Office of Emergency Management is already taking in animals from the wildfires across the state, and they say they can handle plenty more. They have this entire pen set up and ready to go, and a lot of different volunteers from across the county are offering their time and their resources, really just trying to make sure that the animals have a place to stay.
Here, baby, it's okay to get scared.
There's a camaraderie between mountain communities.
Our parents were evacuated from Estes Park.
When one's in need, the others step in to help out. This year, with so many fires burning across the state,
These are specialty chickens, not farm chickens.
there's a lot of need.
We were just told this is a special kind of turkey that's endangered.
Gilpin County and many others in the area are taking in evacuated animals.
And behind me is the animal evacuation shelter that Gilpin County has established.
These are horses that came from the Ward area, right? And so they've been here 4 days.
We have animals that have come from the left-hand fire. We've got majority of them have come from the Troublesome fire over in Grand County, but then we do have some that have come from the Colwood fire.
So far, they've taken in 4 horses, 134 chickens, 16 turkeys, and a dog.
These are from the Left-Hand Canyon fire.
But there's always room for more.
So this will be where our goats will go so they can't escape.
There's a camaraderie between Colorado communities.
We're here for the long haul. We're here to support the animal evacuations. We're here to support the animal owners. Just let us know what we can do to assist you.
And when one's in need, the others help.
We can set pens up and put in up to 100 horses.
Megan Lopez, Denver7.
On Thursday, we feared for the safety of the Stanley Hotel, and tonight we are convinced there isn't a better protected place in all of Colorado. That hotel is taking in hundreds of firefighters, and every shop owner still in Estes Park is providing supplies to keep them all fed, and everyone has a comfortable place to sleep.
It was inside of a darkest hour around noon to 3 yesterday, and really, obviously, it was really truly dark because of there's a soot and smoke in the air. And by 7 p.m., there were 350 to 400 of the bravest souls in Estes Park here to rescue us. It was really one of those great moments where the spirit of the Stanley shined on.
That's wonderful. As the owner put it, who would have thought during the age of coronavirus, he'd be preparing 1,000 meals at one time?
All right, so this is a sight for sore eyes. Firefighters working the Cameron Peak fire took this photo of snow covering the trees. The Cameron Peak fire is now 57% contained, and we can only hope that number grows substantially this weekend. As for the Calwood fire in Boulder County, it's now 55% contained. 10,000 acres and several homes have burned, but this one is currently trending in the right direction. And thanks to you, $45,000 in donations will be given to people impacted by these fires.
Well, let's not slow down now. Head to thedenverchannel.com, click on the Gives section, select the Wildfire Fund from the drop-down menu, and every penny will go to someone in need.
A Colorado Springs family says they've been evicted, but it isn't because they can't pay the mortgage.
I don't know what to do anymore except give up our home.
Plus, the state imposes new restrictions to slow the spread of the virus. Those stories and much more as this hour-long edition of Denver 7 News at 6 continues.